All right. Today, let's see. Actually, this is actually the first SaxCast that I'm having. Uh, and I'm trying out, I'm working with reeds. I played a gig yesterday and I tried out a new reed and it was okay, but I think it was just too stiff. It still played, but it's still, you know, and I do have a reed geek that I used a little, I trimmed off a little bit of it, but right now. I just used a little bit of my reed geek. I think some of this reed dust when I use my reed geek uh, got into my mouth. So you can see all this. This is this type of stuff that gets, it's like a dust that builds up. Basically, it's the waste that the reed geek takes off. You know, the residue. So you got to watch out and not get any of that stuff in your mouth. Well, it would help maybe if I got some get some water, have some water on hand since I am coughing. Anyway, excuse me. So this is the dilemma I have. Hold on, I'm gonna go. I'll be back. I need to get some water, and I don't want to have you just wait here. This is all new to me, so I'm not sure how to work this, but I know I'm live right now, but I was just wondering if I was able to pause it. Nope. I'm not sure. Maybe if you're listening out there, you can tell me how to pause this. Pause, how to pause the YouTube live stream, live video. And I don't think it's happening right now. Anyway, yeah. So I can't find it. Anyway, I'm just going to end it for now. Okay. Wait. I don't know. So far, there's nobody watching anyway. So 5 minutes into my SaxCast. Okay. That reed is a new reed. I use the Jazz Select Diodario 3 soft reed, and on this mouthpiece, which is a Peter Ponzel metal mouthpiece that's modified by myself and also Fred Rast. He helped me with this as well. Great mouthpiece maker in San Jose at Music Village over in San Jose off of Foxworthy and Union. It's a little bit stiff. And I have another reed here that's 3 soft, but this is one that I've used already. And the opening on this mouthpiece, actually, it was a 110. Let's see, what is it? 110 M2. 110 M2 Ponzel. But I don't know if you can see this. I took out the baffle. The baffle is no longer, I don't know if you can see in there. This baffle right here, it's not flat anymore. It's more, it's ground out. So I took out the baffle, made it more like a link, but it still has this brightness to it. So my goal of doing that was to get a little bit rounder, darker sound, get more of the low end of my tone. And it helped a little bit, but not by much. And that's what Fred Rast was actually helping me with. And he has his own line of mouthpieces as well. But this seems to suit me as far as like my mouth structure and all that kind of stuff. But this is an older reed. This isn't a new reed. This is an old reed that actually plays pretty well. So that's much louder and much easier to blow on. And here's the new reed. So what I'm trying to do is get this reed to sound like this old reed, which it has, like you can see, it's old, and it has this tarnish stuff on the back of the reed. Pretty gross, but it works great. Can't deny the sound. Okay, so here's the other reed, the newer reed, and it's just not as good, you know? It just has a stuffiness and it's too hard. The other one is definitely softer. Just doesn't have that. It's it's too dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off some more of the back. I'm not going to even touch the face at all. The face seems to be pretty good as far as like how it looks in the light. This area, right, it doesn't go to a point, but it does right here. This area right here, it kind of like, it's more flat and doesn't go in a triangular shape like go like this. It's more kind of goes out. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of flat right here. This area is kind of like wide. It doesn't go to a point. So, well, what does this reed look like? Okay, this one, yeah, this one has a little bit more of a point going into the middle here, but it's thicker for one thing. So I'm going to try and, I'm going to use this Reed Geek. I'm going to use the little edge on the tip and not the flat wall sides. I'm going to try and take out a little bit of the areas on this side and on this side and see what that does. So I'm going to take off a little bit right here with the tip, this part right here, and then over here, take a little bit of that out. And you can see when I'm looking at it right now, I can see that I took off a little bit of the darkness of where it was thicker. Okay, so I'm going to see how well that worked. And a lot of people, I have to see it. I don't know. People like play and then they kind of like go back and forth, kind of playing the sides of the reed, which actually matters a lot. I mean, it does matter like how each side of the reed plays, but sometimes the visual helps me out. So the right side of my reed is a little bit dead, or it sounds dull. See, it has like a little buzz to it. This one has a little bit duller sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit off the right, little bit in that same spot. I'm going to take a little more off. And I'm going to lower it a little bit. I'm going to take a little more out of the thicker side of the reed. So I try and thin that side. Not too much. I'm not going to put it real close to the thinner part of the reed. Okay, well, it's still pretty dark, and so I'm going to use a little, let me just put this other reed back on. In comparison, I want to see what I need to have done to this reed. And by the way, I'm probably going to use this older reed today because it just seems to work way better. Yesterday, my gig over in San Jose at the San Pedro Square with Stan Earhart and the guys in the band, Randy Hayes and Michael Warren. I was playing with them yesterday, and it just felt really hard to play. I couldn't get around on my horn very well. I mean, it was okay, but it still was just harder. Okay. This is definitely a much better reed. Let me see. What happens too is if when you try to trim off the reed, the tip sometimes, if you take off too much, it becomes too soft, and you don't want that. So what I do is try to take off more off of the back of the reed, more of the thicker part of the reed over here. And so far, I mean, I'm trying, but I guess it all depends on like how much you take off. So I'm going to try taking off a little more farther down here. I'm not going to touch the tip of the reed. It's playing okay. And then I'm not using the corners here. I mean the sides of the reed. I mean sides of the reed geek. I'm using this part here because it's more specific on like how much it's taking off. And so I'm going to take off a little more on the thicker part of the reed. I know you. If anybody was watching me right now, it's like, geez, man, this is boring. Well, yeah, it is boring because I'm here alone, and this is what you got to do when you're playing saxophone, and you got to deal with reeds. Now, if I had a synthetic reed that worked well, I mean, I actually do have a couple synthetic reeds, but there's something about them that just they don't sound quite right yet. I haven't found the one that sounds really good. I mean, I've tried out some different ones. I've tried out Legier. I've tried out Fiber Reed. I've tried out Cell. What is that one? Reed Cell. I can't think of it. Anyway, let's try this. Let me see if I can. And if I could get free reeds from Diodario, I mean, and just figure out how to just get the reeds to just speak for me right away. I might even have to try a 2 hard. This is a 3 soft, so if I get a 2 hard, maybe that might help. Okay. Nope, that's not helping. It still doesn't play quite right. And could be just that I haven't broken in that well enough yet, haven't played it enough. So what I might do is just keep this reed on my mouthpiece that I use to just practice with on my other horn and try and break it in. But that mouthpiece actually has a bigger opening. This opening is probably about an 8, 7 or an 8. And then my other one is about a 9 or a 10. Or in between there. And so the 9 and 10, I'm really having to, push more air. And so it's just a different animal as far as like mouthpieces are concerned. So, okay. All right. Okay, your connection is unstable. Please wait until we try reconnecting. Okay, let's see here.